My name is Richard Wiens, and I'm playing Mark Lundholm in the play Addicted, a comedy of substance. My experience with addiction before we started doing Addicted actually was very minimal. I didn't come from a world where it was very common to be, well, not common, I mean, I guess coming from a smaller population, you see less of it, I think. You know, your bigger populations obviously are going to have more recovery groups and things like that. So my experience with it, or my view of addiction, was kind of like it was outside, like it wasn't something in my little world. It was something I could ignore and something I didn't pay a lot of attention to or think anything really about, almost as if it wasn't important because it didn't affect me. To learn about addiction, we went to an NA meeting, listened to some actual recovering addicts speak. It was interesting, it was powerful, very overwhelming for me actually. It was, there was this one guy, I won't go into what he talked about because that was kind of the deal, you know, you talk about it there, it stays there, but what he spoke about will always stay with me, and just the trouble he had at everyday simple life stuff, getting to learn about being an adult is just, it was amazing to me, and it just really overwhelming, and I don't think I'll ever forget that guy. My experience and opinion of addiction in general has changed a lot. I mean, I know a lot of people probably are a lot like me, and at one point in time were like, well, just stop doing it. It's easy, you can just stop doing it. You know, you say you're an alcoholic, stop drinking. Whereas now it's like, it's not, nothing is that simple. You can't just quit. It's a disease. It's something you have to work at getting, and like any disease, sure, it can go into remission, and you may never drink again, you may never do drugs again, but it's always there, and it's the constant fight to not fall back into that addiction. Well, becoming Mark, again, it's the way I look at a lot of things. A lot of the things I do already that are like, yeah, you know, I could have been addicted to this, and it's other things that I look back on now where it's maybe in tough times or something had me depressed or feeling down. It could have been so simple to head down his road, and I don't think I saw that as much before as I do now, and it might frighten me a little bit, but I recognize it now, and I think I've learned a lot from Mark. I think I do see a lot of Mark in myself. A lot of the way he writes, the way lines come out is like, yeah, I could see myself saying something like that in that situation. So I relate to him a lot. So becoming Mark it's a little easier than I thought it would be. There's some stuff that he says that it's like, wow, I would have said that myself. Thank God I'm not really on drugs. I think the audience should come see the show because, again, I think everybody has something addicted in their life. They've either known somebody or they themselves have done it, they've recovered from it. I think it's a fantastic story for them to listen to because you see that it's a great human strength story. When you're down and out at the very end, if you want to fight for it, you can have it. And I believe that is true of anything. If you want it bad enough, you fight for it and you can achieve anything. Cool. I think I have to go back to what it did for me. Like the bridge it built between myself, who has never been addicted to anything, or didn't think anything of addiction, and now I can empathize with them. I still don't know what their world is like, what it would ever be like to live on the street or to go through rehab and any of that. I have nothing, like, I still will never know what that is like, but I can relate to them, and I think that's a good bridge to build between addicts and non-addicts, is we're all just people, and just because they have a problem doesn't mean you're better than they are. Mark pokes fun a lot at himself. Stupid things he's done that he knows is dumb. He's got one-liners that'll just kind of sneak up on you out of nowhere. Just, I don't know, it's really funny actually. He tells a lot of really good jokes, and he finds humor in a bad situation, and I like that. I like it that he can just poke fun at himself and show people that, you know, there is some good in everything. I hope the audience expect to feel a lot of what I'm feeling. I hope that they have empathy for my portrayal of Mark. I hope they laugh when it's funny and it's appropriate to laugh. I hope if they feel like, you know, it might not even be a serious or sad moment, but I hope that if it's something that they relate to and they can connect with, that they don't hold those emotions in. I hope a lot of them come out of it the same way I have so far, is that you see the difference, that if that's the way you thought before, that you look at addiction differently now, that and that it's not always just alcohol and drugs, but it's work, shopping. Like, everyone is addicted to something, and I'm sure it might not be something bad, but it's, I think everyone, I would like everyone to come out of watching Addicted able to relate to Mark, to someone like Mark, who was, you know, violent and a criminal and an addict. And even if you grew up in, you know, white-collar society, you come away with a little bit of him as part of you. I would say thank you to Mark for letting me, first of all, tell his story and just experience what it's like to take an in-depth look into that world.